Hey y'all, today I'm making my family a seafood gumbo. So go like and subscribe, and thanks a lot for watching the Land Fam. So I got about four blue crabs, and I'm just going to peel that back and break it off, and I'm going to crack it in half, and I'm going to get all the inside cleaned out. Now I have a pound and a half to 2 pounds of shrimp, jumbo shrimps. I'm going to peel the shell off, and I'm going to save the shell, and I'm going to devein it. This is the process that I really hate. I don't really like doing this, but I mean, I'm making it for my father and my mother, so I know they're going to enjoy the end result, but I'm suffering right now. So I finished peeling and deveining all the shrimps, and now I'm going to give them a good wash. Now I'm going to rinse off the shell, and the reason why I'm keeping this is because when I boil their water, I'm going to let the shell soak in there. Okay. So now I have about 12 andouille sausages. I'm going to be cutting all of those up. And if you're making this, make sure you get andouille sausages. Now I have about like 6 to 7 hot sausages. What I'm going to do with these sausages, I'm going to put them inside of a pan, and I'm going to poke holes in the sausages. And the reason I'm doing that is because it has a lot of oil inside the hot sausages, and it's going to drain all that oil out into the pan once I put it in the oven to start cooking it. Now I have about 6 to 7 chicken thighs. What I'm going to do is peel all the skin off of the thighs as much as I possibly can, and I'm going to start cutting them in quarters. And make sure when you're peeling it, you take all the bone out. You don't leave any bone inside these thighs. And once I'm finished cutting them all, I'm going to put it all in a pan, and I'm going to start seasoning it. I'm going to use a season all, some granulated onion powder, granulated garlic powder, and some black pepper. So I'm going to use some chicken broth. I'm putting that inside the pan, and I'm going to coat the bottom of the pan with the chicken broth so before I put it in the oven. I put the oven on 350, and I let it cook for about an hour, hour and a half. Now this is my shrimp shells. I put all my shrimp shells inside of the pot. The shrimp shells is going to enhance the flavor of the water. So make sure when you do this, you put the water to the side once you finish boiling it. You're gonna boil it for about a good hour and a half or hour or two, and you're gonna drain it and put all that water to the side. I chopped up all my andouille sausages, and now I'm going to get that shrimp broth, and I'm going to dump all my andouille sausages in the pan. Now I have 2 bags of dried shrimp. I'm going to add that as well. Now I have my chopped up celery, onion, and bell pepper. I'm going to add mostly half of that onion into the pot, and I'm going to use the other half for my roux. This has been boiling to about like 15 to 20 minutes now. Now I'm going to add all my celery into the pot. And now I'm going to add my bell pepper. So this is garlic. I used about 7 to 8 cloves of garlic and put it inside the pot. I added 10 to 12 bay leaves to my pot. I'm going to be using seasoned oil, some onion and garlic powder, granulated onion and garlic powder, and some black pepper. So you're going to add Zatarain inside of your pot. I added 4.5 capfuls in there. If you wanted more spicier, just drop some more capfuls in. I chopped up around 4 to 5 green onion and I put it inside the pot. An hour and a half later, I took them out the oven and I started cutting them into circles. And after I finish cutting this, I'm going to put it inside the pot. I'm going to do this before I start making my roux. This pot's been on for about an hour, so now I'm going to add my hot sausages. I'm going to start pouring vegetable oil in a pan, and these are all half cups that I'm pouring into the pan. So I'm going to keep stirring this, and make sure that if you do mess up or anything happens and you walk away and it starts to burn or stick, you throw it away and do it again, because this is the heart of the dish. If you mess this up, you ruin everything. So if you mess it up, throw it away, do it again. But stay right there. I'm going to stay right here for a complete hour, and I'm just going to keep stirring, keep stirring. Do not let it stick. Keep stirring. And if you have any questions regarding this dish, just comment below and I'll get right to you. Now we're about at the 15-minute mark. Make sure you keep stirring and do not let it sit. So now this is like the 25-minute marker, and you see how it's bubbling up and having a little consistency. Just keep stirring and scraping the sides of the pan as well. So make sure you stir, stir, stir. Now we're at the 40-minute mark. So just make sure, like I said, keep stirring. I know your arm hurts and I know it's going to really like burn. Just keep switching those hands, but make sure you do not let up on that stirring. Okay, it's 45 minutes later. Now I'm going to add some onion and I'm going to stir it into the roux. An hour has officially passed and it is done. So I'm going to start dumping it into my pot. I'm going to do as slowly as possible and then stir it as I put it in there because you don't want it to clump at the bottom. So you make sure you just scoop some out little by little and just stir it in there. Add some of the water that's in the pot and try to get those corners to make sure you get all that roux out of there. It's now been 2 hours since all of the food's been boiling. We're going to dump the chicken inside the pot and make sure if it is some broth left that's inside the chicken pan, you drain that in the sink or somewhere because you don't want to put it in there. And again, the chicken cooked for about 45 minutes to an hour in the oven. This is that gumbo filet. I used the entire bottle for this right here. And I poured it in little by little and stirred it so it wouldn't clump. Correction, I used the bottle and a half of filet. After I stirred it enough for 15 minutes, I put my parsley inside my pot. Make sure you kept your stove on medium low the whole entire time. It's been about 2 hours and 45 minutes. Now I'm going to drop my blue crabs inside the pot. Five minutes after, I started dropping my king crab inside the pot. In another 5 minutes after, I'm going to start dropping my shrimps. Now you're just going to start stirring everything around. And after you drop your shrimp, leave the eye on probably for another 5 minutes, then turn it completely off. And now I'm going to be putting some crab meat inside of there and some claw meat. So you're going to leave the lid off of this because it's been on all day and it's still cooking. So just make sure you stir everything in there and you don't put the lid on and you keep stirring it. Keep stirring it. And if you do want it to cool down, take it off the stove and put it to the side. Make sure that you do put this up and you put it in the refrigerator once it's cooled down. You don't want to leave it out overnight because it's seafood and you don't want to get sick. And we're done. About 3-hour job, and my parents really enjoyed this meal. I'm gonna make it every once in a while for them because this is kind of on the expensive side. But thank you so much for watching the Lynn fam. Go like and subscribe. Thanks.